Mr. Kennedy, now I would like you to elaborate, if you can. How do you propose to solve these problems of these big nefarious corporations exerting their influence in federal government and even state government to further their economical interest with more free market? How is more free market a solution to this?
Number one, we got to get rid of the Citizens United, because that is a systemic corruption. That's, like you said,
Right.
it has legalized bribery on a massive scale. But within each of these agencies, there are two things happening. One is you have corrupt personnel who have infiltrated the culture with their corruption. And two, you have perverse incentives, which need to be changed because, for example, FDA gets 50% of its budget from the pharmaceutical companies.
Correct.
So they're not working for us. EPA is a captive agency. It's captive by oil and coal. Well, what would happen if EPA was getting 50% of its budget from the coal companies and it only got that budget if they did well selling coal every year? Well, that's how FDA works. NIH, we changed the law in 1980. This is the craziest thing. Like, you wouldn't believe how crazy this is. We passed an act called the Bayh-Dole Act in 1980, and it said that any scientist who's working for NIH gets to collect royalties on any drug that he regulated. I'll just give you one example. The Moderna vaccine has a rate 40% greater than any of the other vaccines. It was the worst of all of them. The Moderna vaccine was developed by NIH, so NIH owns 50%, and half the royalties go to NIH, so it's making tens of billions of dollars. There's 6 individuals who work at NIH, high-level deputies, who make $150,000 a year or ever. As long as mRNA products are on the market, those 6 guys are making money. These are the guys whose job it is to find problems with that product, to say, hey, wait a minute, it's not safe enough here, you can't do this, you can't do that. They are paying for their mortgages, they're paying for their boat, they're paying for their kids' education, they're paying for their alimony. Other thing is personnel. Policy is personnel. When I sued Monsanto, we got discovery documents, which were emails from the top officials at the Monsanto company and the head of the pesticide division at EPA. His name was Jess Rowland. As it turns out, he was running the pesticide division for a decade, but he wasn't really working for EPA. He was secretly working for Monsanto the whole time, and they were telling him, you got to kill this study, you got to fix this study, you got to bring in these mercenary scientists that we're going to give you to sign on to this study, and we're going to ghostwrite it for you. He was doing everything they said. At one point, they said to him, there's another agency outside of EPA, the Agency for Toxic Substances Research, the ATSDR. They're doing a study studying the links between cancer and Roundup. You can't let them do that because we know what they're going to say, what they're going to find, and we can't let them publish it. And Jess Rowland said, that's not my agency. I can't do anything about it. This is what he wrote. And they wrote him back saying, you got to do it. So finally he writes back and says, okay, but if I do this, you better give me a gold medal. You know, what Jess Rowland, there's guys like that in every agency. And in many of the cases, I know who they are, I know their names, and I'm going to move them out.